The Warlock exotic gauntlets, the Ophidian Aspects, have made the transition into Destiny 2. Released fairly late into the game's cycle, the D1 Ophidian Aspects were a pretty solid choice for Warlocks, given that they provided you with an improved energy drain and increased your weapon ready and reload speed. Since the D1 Ophidians had this energy drain feature, the exotic was partially neutral, but was pointing towards a Voidwalker build to utilise the energy drain buff. After a lot of changes were made to the Voidwalker's skill tree, the energy drain build with Embrace the Void gave you an endless torrent of grenades that would also heal you on a kill. Also having enhanced handling speeds was a nice bonus, particularly in the Crucible. So now in D2, how does the new Ophidian Aspect stack up against its former self? The exotic perk will again allow you to ready and reload your weapons very quickly, but instead of an energy drain buff, our melee range is extended. So we can see that the aspects have gone from partially subclass neutral to completely subclass neutral. Not only that, but these gauntlets are one of the very few Warlock exotics that actually enhances your weapons, not your class abilities. Before we move on, let's see what the exotic perk actually does. Just from reloading and cycling between your weapons, you can clearly see there is an improvement to your ready and reload speed. A pretty significant improvement too. Also with your melee attack, you get this shoulder charge-like effect around you when you melee with the aspects. But in terms of extended range, I really couldn't tell much of a difference. I tried testing this range further with the Chain Lightning perk in the Stormcaller skill tree, which is also supposed to extend the range, but again, I couldn't see any significant differences. So I guess to summarise the melee range increase on the Ophidian Aspects would be to say, it's a minor increase. Definitely not up there with the Syntheseps range or D1 Stormcaller melee range. But still, I would say that the main feature of this exotic is the weapon handling buffs, not the melee range increase. So let's get back to the build. The default mod on the Aspects is an energy counterbalance mod, which isn't particularly amazing, but at least it's keeping with the same theme of this exotic. I'd say feel free to keep this mod, but a Paragon mod or a Munitions Loader mod of your choosing would also be acceptable. I mentioned that these gauntlets are subclass neutral, and in this case they really are. What I mean is that these gauntlets don't really have anything to lose or gain by playing a particular subclass. I was really trying out all the subclasses and all the skill trees, trying to see if any of them synergized with the aspects. The only perk that was somewhat noteworthy is the Swift Strike perk in the Dawnblade skill tree, where getting a charged melee attack will temporarily increase your movement and reload speed. Hardly synergizing with the aspects, since the reload speed bonuses overlap anyway. But this exercise of playing all the subclasses really made me realise that the Warlock seriously lacks subclass perks and exotics that improve weapon performance. Just to think of a few exotics that work with weapons, I could think of the Trick Sleeves, the Lucky Pants, the Peacekeepers, and the Actium Warrig, which are all for the Hunter and Titan. Now the Warlock has the Ophidian Aspects, giving you faster weapon ready and reload speed, but without the restrictions that the other exotics have. This would suggest that the Aspects are pretty much all of the aforementioned exotics combined. Well, at least the exotics that enhanced ready and reload speed. So all in all, how would I optimize the Ophidian Aspects? As for subclass, I'd say it's completely open. I like to run my Stormcaller at the moment, but that's just my preference. The real way of optimizing the aspects is with your weapon loadout, given that's what the exotic is working with directly. In PvE, hand cannons, auto rifles, shotguns like Acrius, and rocket launchers would benefit greatly from faster handling. And in the Crucible, rapidly switching and reloading submachine guns and sidearms can give you the edge in encounters. If I had to pick a place to use the aspects, I would say they're more suited to the Crucible, since weapon handling becomes far more important in that environment. But honestly, you're never going to disadvantage yourself in PvE with faster weapon handling. So what do you guys think of the D2 Ophidian Aspects? I think they're a solid addition to the Warlock's arsenal, actually breaking away from the trend of ability cooldown exotics that already saturates the Warlock's exotic gear table. I would recommend trying them if you can get them, and see what you think. Thanks for watching, guys.